Okay, Brian and I would like to share an experience, a recent experience I've had with the Freightliner chassis versus the other chassis. I have an American Eagle, a 2015 Eagle, 45 foot, and I have a friend that has a 2013 45 foot Eagle, same floor plan, and we came back from Redmond together, and her husband doesn't drive, so my wife and I travel with him, and we swapped off driving, and each morning we'd start out and I would drive my friend's 45 foot with her husband, and she would ride in my coach with my wife, and at noon we would swap off driving. And she had a 45 foot Spartan chassis with a 500 Cummins, and I have a 45 foot Freightliner chassis with a Detroit 500 Detroit. Several things happened during that 3 and 4 days of I would get in her coach and I'd get into my coach and I'd get into her coach, and during the day I would drive my coach probably two different times, and I'd drive her coach 2 different times. By the second day I remarked to my wife when I got into my coach to drive, I said, gosh, this thing rides quieter and it rides so much better. And the Freightliner chassis was just, in my opinion, just a really top quality ride. Not that the Spartan's bad. I've had a mini Spartan chassis, but it seemed to just ride better. And I've got to say this about that Detroit diesel. I've always had Cummins diesel engines. The only diesel engine I've ever owned in my life was Cummins until now, and I've got a Detroit. And I was driving the other coach one day, the first day, and we hit one of those mountains coming across there, and all of a sudden here comes my wife in this Detroit 500, and I'm on the floor with that Cummins, and she passes me. And we get to the fuel stop, we take on 100 gallons, and the other coach takes on 112 gallons, and I take on 100 gallons. We just drove the same distance. So this goes on for 3 or 4 days, and I guess I was so impressed because you never have the opportunity to get in and out of 2 different coaches that are 2 opposite coaches and really get a true test, and I did. And I've got to hand it to Freightliner and Detroit Diesel. I think they've put a good combination together here, and I just felt like I needed to tell this story, and I certainly hope my friends at Spartan takes this in the right spirit, and that Cummins takes it in the right spirit. Maybe they'll get a little better mileage out of those Cummins by telling this story. But I'm not endorsing anyone, I'm just telling a true story that happened to me. And I like to tell the truth, that way I can tell you the same story 6 months from now. I just thought I'd share that with you, Brian.
Thank you, appreciate it.